All right, folks, that's pretty much it. We have built our prototype game. It's fully playable, it has a HUD, it's got a lot of great things going on. Now, obviously, there's a lot of polish and a lot of cool things that you could do at this point. But before we completely close out, I did want to show you how this game could be packaged and turned into a standalone executable that you could pass out to your friends. So this is a pretty easy process, so I imagine this is going to be a very short video. Let's go under Edit and go under Project Settings and go right over to Packaging. There's some things here that will be very useful for you to know about when you're building this out. First off, there's your build configuration. We're going to leave this set to development, but when you're actually ready to redistribute, you can switch that to shipping. It changes some of the underlying configuration files. We're going to keep it set to developer, and then we're going to do a couple of things. First off, create compressed cooked packages. So it applies just a little bit of compression to decrease your overall file size. Then you can add a list of maps to include in a packaged build. So by doing this, the only assets that will be included are the assets that are listed in these maps. So it's a way to kind of cook out anything you weren't really using anyway. So we'll add an entry, click the little browse button, and then there's our arena map. So we'll add that in, and there we go. Now we just need to cook this to some location. So this is super easy. We're just going to go to File and go to Package Project, and then go under Windows, 64-bit, and click, and it's just going to ask you to give this a folder location. So there's Package Project, and there's I've already created a folder here called TwinStick Build. Now, if you click this, unless you have some errors in your C++ code, which you shouldn't at this point because your game has been playing, everything's just going to build and deploy. So instead of having to sit here and wait through a deployment, which would just be kind of tedious for the purposes of a training video, I can open up a cooked build that I've already completed off camera. So here we are, and we can double click and open this up. And give this just a second, and here we go. There we go, it's on the other window. Let me pull it over so everybody can see it. There it is. And awesome. So there's our cooked build. And it looks like we have some sound effects here, so we'll make sure we turn those off. So there we go. Now this is actually a slightly different build than what we've been constructing on the video, but it does show off the process, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and close that out. So again, the process, once you set up, once you're ready to go, which really just means you go under Project Settings. Any settings you'd like to change, you can go ahead and do that. I prefer to use the compressed package size and then just feed in the maps that I want to cook. Really, everything else is just File, Package Project, and choose your platform. So there you go. You've now seen how to create a Windows executable. Very, very simple process. Before we go, let's go ahead and just kind of talk about what we've covered throughout this project, because there's actually been a lot going on here. I mean, we talked about setting up a completely blank project. We built a very simple level. We reviewed the Unreal Engine framework. We created a base class out of C++ code, which we then extended later into our hero character and our enemy character. We added a camera to our hero. We controlled mobility and rotation by bringing in some inputs. We set up the enemy character so that he could take damage from laser fire. On that note, we created a weapon that actually fired laser projectiles that were intelligent, right? They can't possibly shoot the player because they check and see if he's friendly. We showed how we could destroy those enemies, how the player could be destroyed, and how he could be respawned into the world. We set up animation. We set up the ability for the characters to choose between different death animations. We spawned a whole bunch of enemies into the world and showed how to set up a little spawning system that is intelligent, knows how many enemies are there, and keeps that capped out. We set up our own HUD for the game. We attached the gun to the character's hand using a socket. So we've covered a lot of ground here, and there's a lot of good stuff to review, so make sure that you do review it. I wanted to take just a moment and thank you very much for coming with me on this project. I know it's been quite long. We've covered a lot of stuff, and it can be a little bit mind-numbing, but congratulations on making it this far. I would love to see any of your projects if you'd actually followed through this. I'd love to see what you create. If you'd like to push it and maybe use different materials, do your own polish pass, add other effects, add more animations. This is totally compatible with the animation starter pack that's available on the marketplace. So there's a lot more animations that you can add. Again, thank you very much for coming along, and I hope to see you again on more training videos from Epic Games. Take it easy.